Hi everyone, my name is Trina. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about what it's like to live in beautiful British Columbia, Canada as a local. I've lived here my entire life. If you haven't already, please click the little heart icon in the corner of the screen in order to subscribe to my channel. That would mean so much to me. And without further ado, we'll get to today's video. So my experience living in British Columbia, Canada as a local has been pretty good. I've lived here ever since I was born. I was born here. I was born in Richmond, British Columbia. I've lived in Pell River along the Sunshine Coast. I've lived in Victoria, BC, Vancouver Island, and I have lived in Surrey. I've lived in Vancouver. So I've pretty much been all over the coast. So if you're from another country and you're looking to move here to Canada, I would highly recommend it. So many people from other countries live here, from China, India, Korea. A lot of Asian countries love to live here, and I would highly recommend it. So the climate here is definitely mild, so it is a rainforest climate. So it usually hovers around 20 to 30 degrees in the spring and summer, and in the fall and winter it's anywhere from 0 to 10. It sometimes dips below 0, but not very often. So it is pretty crowded here. I will insert a clip. So as you can see, it's a little bit busy. Yeah, just a tiny bit busy. And I would say, depending on where you live, it's definitely crowded in the Lower Mainland area. So I live in White Rock, British Columbia. It is close to the ocean. It's not as crowded as Vancouver. So if you want to live in Vancouver, but you don't want to deal with the hustle and bustle of the city, I would highly recommend White Rock, British Columbia. You can also live in an area close by, such as Abbotsford or Surrey. Surrey has a very large East Indian population. If you are East Indian, you would definitely feel right at home in Surrey. White Rock I like because it is close to the ocean and I love the ocean. So if you are a nature lover, I would definitely recommend White Rock, British Columbia. If you have any questions about the Lower Mainland British Columbia area, please drop them in the comments down below. I would be happy to answer any questions as a local. So British Columbia, Vancouver, Surrey, White Rock cities are very close to the border, so it's very easy just to drive across the border, especially when you have a nexus. That makes it very quick to easily go into the States for shopping. And Bellingham is the closest town you can drive to from White Rock, so it is really nice to have that close access to the States. I absolutely love White Rock, BC. I will insert some pictures here from my Instagram. I've lived here for about 5 years now. I've moved from Surrey to White Rock, and I guess it's considered South Surrey, so there is a border between South Surrey and White Rock, but South Surrey, White Rock is all kind of considered the same area. If you love hiking and nature, Vancouver is a great place to be. There is Grouse Mountain, which is a beautiful place to hike if you love hiking and outdoor activities. It's also great for camping. I'm not the biggest camper in the world, but I know a lot of people that love camping. So it's definitely a great place to live if you love the outdoors and you love hiking and mountains and lakes and that sort of thing. So I guess I'll just share some of the experiences I've had with the different towns I've lived in throughout my life. So Richmond, British Columbia is a place that is close to Vancouver. It is a city. There is lots of great shopping, cafes, tons of amazing options for Asian food especially. There's a very high Chinese, Korean, Japanese population in Richmond. So if you are from those countries, you would feel right at home in Richmond. They have amazing Asian malls where they sell like Japanese, Korean style clothing. And it's really fun to go and visit. I've had some of the best sushi in Richmond. So I've lived in Richmond and I love it there. I've also lived in Pell River. So I lived in Pell River as a kid. So Pell River is a little town along the Sunshine Coast. So I grew up in front of the ocean. It's a great place to raise kids. It's very quaint and small, has a very small town feel. It is very beautiful there, very peaceful. So Powell River, British Columbia is an amazing small town, a great spot to raise kids. I've also lived in Victoria, BC, so that is on Vancouver Island. Vancouver Island is a little island right off the coast of where Vancouver is, and it takes a ferry to get there. So you hop on BC ferries, it takes about an hour just to travel across the ocean to get to Vancouver Island. And Victoria is beautiful. It's definitely larger than Powell River, but has a feel similar to Vancouver. It is extremely beautiful there. It does get a little bit cold there. It's very quaint and quiet if you like that sort of thing, but there's definitely a ton of options for shopping if you like to shop. I also lived in a little town called Merritt when I was a kid, and Merritt is smaller than Powell River, I believe, and it's a very dry climate. Again, it's a very safe, quaint, small town and a safe place to raise kids. I did live in Vancouver as well for a year. I lived right on Commercial Drive. I love Commercial Drive, so Commercial Drive is a great spot if you are a bit of a hippie. It definitely has hippie vibes, so there is lots of thrift stores and places where you can buy clothing made from hemp and organic cotton, and there's some health food stores along there as well. So it's a great spot. You can basically walk to a cafe, a grocery store from Commercial Drive. So I highly recommend Commercial Drive if you're looking for a place to live in Vancouver that has a lot of character and where you can walk to everything. So the cost of housing in this area is very high, unfortunately. So for a condo in the White Rock area, you're looking at around 500 to 800,000. And if you're looking for a house, we're looking at prices in the millions. So in White Rock, Vancouver, it's definitely more expensive. In Richmond, it's expensive. So if you're wanting a good deal on a townhome or a condo in the Lower Mainland, I would suggest Abbotsford area or Langley or Newton. Those areas seem to be more affordable. So if you are moving here and you don't know about the cost of housing, it is very expensive. I believe it's one of the most expensive places to live in Canada. Vancouver and Toronto are very expensive, so be warned. So some good vacation spots to visit in the Lower Mainland would be Whistler. Whistler is a place where you can do snowboarding and skiing if that's your thing. A lot of people like to drive up to Whistler in the winter months. It is quite beautiful and looks like a Hallmark film. It's very snowy and has some great ski resorts. Some other great locations if you are into island life and surfing. Tofino is excellent. It's a beautiful beach town. Also, Salt Spring is one of my favorite places to go visit. It is definitely hippie vibes in Salt Spring and just very laid back. I highly recommend Salt Spring. So out of all of the places that I've lived in the Lower Mainland, I would say that White Rock, British Columbia is my favorite, mainly because I love being close to the ocean. It's quiet. Again, if you have any specific questions about White Rock, please ask below. So that concludes my video about what it's like to live in the Lower Mainland as a local. Again, if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!